Now, let's move on to the next question. This question is from RTP November 2023. CA Paris has been appointed as the Chief Financial Officer, CFO of Prashant Limited. So there is a person called as a CA, and he is not the auditor. Look, he is a chartered accountant, but he is appointed as the CFO. You need to read the question very carefully. He is the CFO of a company called as the Prashant Limited. In this role, CA Paris is tasked with the responsibility of ensuring that the company's entities' operations are conducted in accordance with relevant rules and laws and regulation. As part of his duty, CA Paris is emphasizing the importance of adhering to all applicable laws and regulation that could impact the entity's specific disclosures in its financial statements. Additionally, he is focusing on compliance with laws and regulation that dictate the appropriate financial reporting framework for the company. CA Paris is also highlighting the significance of avoiding any non-compliance, as certain laws and regulation may impose penalties in the event of violation. Now, CA Paris wants to implement policies and procedures in an entity that assist in the prevention and detection of non-compliance with laws and regulation. Help CA Paris by citing examples of such policies and procedure. So this type of question is already discussed earlier. So I am not going to explain the entire point. You just need to write along with me. So the question is that there is a person called as CA Paris. He is appointed as a CFO of a company, and the company is a Prashant Limited. That means it is a public company. And there are many facts like CA Paris wants to ensure that the company is in compliance with all the applicable laws and regulation. He is focusing on compliance with laws and regulation because he is very aware that if there is a non-compliance, then the company will have to suffer many losses, or the company will need to pay additional penalties for such non-compliance. And he also highlights the importance of avoiding any non-compliance. And in such a situation, he wants to implement certain policies in his organization, in the entity, so that non-compliance can be prevented. And if there is a non-compliance, it can be detected very easily. So what are the policies and procedure that the company need so that this non-compliance can be avoided, or what are such policies and procedure that CA Paris will need to implement in the company to avoid non-compliance? So we already looked this answer before. So just write down with me, and this writing is very important. It is for good writing practice, and this type of question is very important. So you need to learn it very well. In auditing, there is a fact that if you come across any 5 or 6 points in auditing, then it's definitely a 4 or 5 mark question. So you need to learn that 4 or 5 points, 5 or 6 points as per your convenience. At least 5 or 6 points you need to learn it very well so that you can be in a safer side. So let's write the answer together. And first of all, we need to give a heading. Look, if you can identify from where the question is asked, then it is better to give a heading before writing the entire answer. This presentation looks very neat. It is not mandatory that you should give heading to each and every answer you write, but if possible, if you can determine from where such question is asked, what is the content of the question, then it's always better to give a heading. Okay, there is no compulsion regarding this. So give a heading. Management responsibility for compliance with laws and regulations. Essay 250, consideration of consideration of laws and regulations in an audit of financial statements states that it is the responsibility of the management. It is the responsibility. It is the responsibility of the management with the oversight of TCWG. With the oversight of TCWG to ensure, TCWG means those charged with governance, to ensure that the entities operations are conducted in accordance with the provisions of laws and regulations. For this purpose, management may apply the following procedures. So the first procedure, first policy. Monitoring legal requirements and ensuring that operating procedures are designed to meet these requirements. Next, second point, instituting and operating appropriate system of internal control. IC means internal control. Next point, developing, publicizing and following a code of conduct. Next, ensuring employees are properly trained and understand the code of conduct. Next, monitoring monitoring, compliance with code of conduct, and acting appropriately to discipline employees who fail to comply with it. Next point, engaging legal advisors to assist in monitoring legal requirements. Next point, maintaining a register of significant laws and regulations with which the entity has to comply within its particular industry and a record of complaints. So these are some of the examples of policies and procedure that the CFO needs to implement in his company. For what purpose? For prevention and detection of non-compliance. Okay, so this is the answer for this question. First of all, you need to understand what the question asks. If possible, just give a heading. Write the name of the essay, write the complete name of the essay. Okay, then you just need to write every point, 5 or 6 points. If possible, you need to write the entire point. Okay. And for remembering all these points, continuous revision is needed. Continuous reading, careful reading and slow reading is needed.